Welcome back, and today I am reviewing my top 4 picks for the best Arcade1up cabinets. These are all cabinets that I own, and previously I did a video on my picks number 5 through 9, cabinets that I like in most cases, but maybe don't quite love, or they have some really serious flaws, but now we're down to really the best of the best. And in most cases, I've had time to play these cabinets for a while. That has given me a nice perspective on which cabinets do I actually come back to and replay. And I'm going to be sharing that with you today. Let's take a look. My next cabinet is a bit of a curveball. Number 4 on my list is Golden Tee. This is the kind of game you either love or you hate for a lot of people, and I don't know that it attracts the same crowd as the usual arcade game enthusiast who buys Arcade1up products. Now, I put myself in that bucket of arcade enthusiasts. I'm not somebody who grew up playing Golden Tee a lot or has played it a lot in bars. I've really only played it a couple of times. But I thought this would look good with my pool table, and I'm really glad I bought it. I actually think people who are trying to build an arcade in their basement or game room should take a second look at Golden Tee if they haven't already, especially with how inexpensively this is now available at retail. This ended up being one of my favorite cabinets, and it's a nice change of pace from the usual arcade titles. Tons of gameplay comes with this cabinet. There are 4 games, and each has 3 18-hole courses. That's 17 holes, my dudes, and I could make a joke that goes with that, but it would get me banned from YouTube, so we're just going to ignore that. Pros for this cabinet, there are a lot of them. Tons of courses to play. You will spend so much time just going through each course once. It saves high scores, and it's Golden Tee, so you don't just have one high score to chase. You have all these different records you can set on different courses for different things like length of stroke, putt length, etc. The trackball is really good. Some people have reported issues with theirs, but those seem to be isolated cases of a bad unit, and if that's the problem with yours, contact customer support. The trackball that you get with this cabinet has really good travel, has really good momentum. This is a good quality product. The recessed monitor makes it so you won't jam your fingers unless you play like an asshole. Not going to point fingers, but there's somebody maybe who's played on my cabinet that did that. But if you play within reason, you will not hit your fingers on the cabinet, and it's hard to say that if you're just looking at a photograph, but I can tell you as someone who's played this a lot, it's really not a problem. And the monitor is recessed more than the normal Gen 3 cabinet, so it's recessed more than any other Arcade1up we've seen before. It is a great looking cabinet, and it's the first one that came with a light up marquee. It actually looks like a Golden Tee cabinet more so than just another Arcade1up product. It's got the same side panel shape as other Arcade1ups, but that's pretty close to the original Golden Tee, and the control panel is a perfect match for every single game because they're all Golden Tee. It feels like a more premium product than the other cabinets, and I noted that in my detailed review, which I'll put a card for up top if you want to check that out. Downsides to my number 4 pick, Golden Tee. Single speaker. At least one of these Golden Tee games is stereo. They should have put 2 speakers under the marquee, but at the point when this came out, they hadn't yet released any stereo cabinets, so maybe that design wasn't finalized, but I'd really like to see stereo. Some people complain about the pixelated graphics on this. That is a common complaint for this cabinet. I don't have an issue with that. These are older iterations of Golden Tee, and it's on an LCD monitor, not a CRT, so it kind of is what it is. If you're not okay with that, then maybe skip this, but I think it looks fun. One potential con, this had better be upgradable to the Silver Strike model or it'll be very frustrating. But if they do make this upgradable, then that'll be a huge advantage, and this might jump higher up on my list. Time will tell. Number 3 on my list, and now we're getting into stuff I really like and I'm happy with as a purchase. Star Wars. Honestly, I may rate this higher after I spend more time with it. Since I have the new control panel, the new yoke, I've been able to play it a bit, but not as much as I'd like, so give me some more time with this. But it is definitely the most beautiful Arcade1up cabinet produced to date. The unique control yoke that has never before been manufactured at scale to be re-released since the original Star Wars cabinets looks awesome. Now that yoke is plastic, it's not metal like the original, but they really nailed the look and the feel of using this yoke, and the gameplay with it is perfect. My only concern with this cabinet, honestly, is longevity, and that's okay as long as Arcade1up supports this with selling updated yokes that you can buy to replace if it breaks down. The original arcade yoke for Star Wars, even though the casing was metal, the gears inside were plastic, and they were known to break down with use. I expect the same issue here, although with home use, it may take a very long time. The emulation on this is very good, and the cabinet is the first Arcade1up to offer, and the only, by the way, to offer configuration options for every game with unique settings for each game. The vector line adjustments are especially nice, but I also appreciate toggling off a track screen music, for example. A track screen behavior is actually, I think, a key differentiator for Arcade1up alongside things like the At Games Legends Ultimate, because you can have a lot of cabinets running at once with their track screens, and getting the audio from that is pretty cool. Of all the games on this cabinet, I play Star Wars the most so far, but like I said, this is new to me, and give me some more time with it, I may end up liking Empire more. They're both great, and Return of Jedi is a nice bonus to have and really completes the set, even if I personally am not a huge fan. Pros for the Arcade1up Star Wars, my number 3 pick.
I will deal with them myself.
Holy shit, the nostalgia with this machine, the audio, the voices, the music, incredible. The menu settings, and detailed ones at that. Code Mystics, who handled the emulation and the software on this cabinet, killed it. Hats off to them. I hope Arcade1up partners with them in the future. They even did a really good job with scan lines that are present in Return of the Jedi. I think they're better scan lines than we get with the Sega Genesis Mini. Code Mystics deserves props for that. The yoke quality is really good, and yeah, it could be nicer, it could be metal, but look guys, for the cost of this cabinet, a metal Star Wars yoke from, say, Allen 1 alone is $350. Clearly these are expensive to make. Custom side panels and light-up marquee really rank this cabinet highly on an authenticity scale. For cons, the only issue I have with this cabinet really is nobody's fault, because that's how these games were made back in the day, but the Star Wars and Empire arcade games are just very short, but you can play them in repeated waves, and they're really fun to sit there and play repeatedly. So they're great games, but if you've never played them before, you're going to be shocked that it only takes a couple minutes to clear the level, and then you realize that's the only level. You just do repeated waves on that level. Nevertheless, this is as close to a masterpiece we have seen from Arcade1up. I highly recommend Star Wars. Number 2 on my power ranking, and it's starting to get tough to rank these because honestly, I really love all of these top 3 cabinets, but I have to go with the Marvel Limited Edition for number 2. I like this cabinet now even more than back when I reviewed it. As I've spent time with it, it's really grown on me. The more I get to play this, the more I see that it truly is a complete package. For one, it does have a beat 'em up. It's not just fighting games, which I love. Punisher is phenomenal, and I had never played it before until I got this cabinet, but I actually have played through it several times, and beat 'em ups are not games I normally play repeatedly. Marvel Superheroes, the marquee title for this cabinet, is one of my favorite fighting games. Now I have to say, I'm not a big fighting game enthusiast. I play fighting games rather casually, but Marvel's a great game for a casual player. I know we all want Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, and I imagine it's coming, but I really do enjoy this game on its own merits. What do I like about this cabinet? Sanwa sticks and buttons with the limited edition model. This was the first time Arcade1up exclusively sold a cabinet from their web store, and they went all out with making this a good value. We get Sanwa sticks and Sanwa buttons. I really think that level of quality should be standard for all their limited edition cabinets, but it looks like that's just not the case going forward. The cabinet artwork is very good, and the customizer makes this look like a proper arcade, a complete package. The light up marquee does look awesome. It's not washed out like you get with Mortal Kombat 2. What do I not like about the Marvel Limited Edition? It would benefit from system menus. Marvel and Children of the Atom difficulty are very high. They cannot be adjusted, and that's just a huge oversight. Also, this is nitpicky a little bit, but scanlines like we get with Return of the Jedi on the Star Wars cabinet would have truly completed this. My number 1 pick for all of the Arcade1ups I have, number 1 out of 9, is the Street Fighter Cocktail Table Black Series. Really my favorite of all the cabinets I own and have ever played. I spend more time on this cabinet than any other cabinet by far. I probably play this more than my Nintendo Switch at the moment. It looks really good in a game room, so it truly does nail that decor element. Where you put something this large in your house, you do want it to look good. And if you have multiple stand-up cabs around it, you're going to look like you have a real proper arcade in the house. Plus, I finally have a place to set drinks. I would consider getting more cocktail cabs. I hope that they come with these in the future and new iterations with new games. What do I like about this cabinet? The game variety is absolute fire. We get Darkstalkers, which I love, and we get a ton of Street Fighter versions, but we also get other games. We get shoot 'em ups, we get run and gun games like Commando, we get platformers like Ghouls and Ghosts. There's a ton of variety here, and that's what keeps bringing me back and ultimately makes this the best cabinet I own. The controls are good. We get Sanwa joysticks, the same joysticks you get with the Marvel Limited Edition. The buttons look good, they feel fine, but they are not name brand buttons. These are clone buttons of some sort, which for the price is a little bit disappointing. But overall, I give it a win on the controls front. Room for improvement, and I say this out of love because I really do like this product. We need a settings menu per game. The Street Fighter difficulty is off the charts. I'm not great at Street Fighter. I'm okay. I would love to be able to tone that difficulty down and learn as I go. There really should be Sanwa buttons to go with the joysticks. I did a whole video on that because I assumed if it came with the name brand joystick, we'd also get name brand buttons like we did with limited edition, but apparently this was a cost-saving measure. The table height really should be 32 inches. Now that is the biggest drawback from this cabinet, but as I've mentioned before, there are steel feet that you can get, and you can get them in black so they match the look of the cabinet, that bring this up from 25 inches, which is its normal height, to 32, and truly make this look like a proper cocktail cabinet you would have seen back in the day and complete the table. Because that's available as an option for $30, I'm not going to dock this cabinet too hard, and it still remains my favorite. The cost overall is high, $500 plus shipping, and if you want to add the stools like I did, you're in for $60 to $80 per stool. So this is nothing to sneeze at, but for how fun this is and for how good it looks, I do think it's worth it. Those are my top picks, guys. Let me know in the comments what you like and out of the Arcade1up cabinets you've played, or maybe you have the At Games Legends Ultimate and you like that better than all of these. I know that's how a lot of people feel. What do you think, though, of the cabinets that have been out so far? Which ones are your favorites, whether you own them or plan to get them or just they're on your wish list? Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, let YouTube know so they can share this with other people. Hit like, leave a comment. All of that helps with YouTube's algorithm, and we'll catch you next time.